Hello students, welcome back. So in our today's video, we shall be studying about the reasons as to why expatriates fail and what are the selection policies that can be adopted to avoid the failure of expatriates. So in our previous video, we had concluded with understanding who are expatriates and the concept of expatriate failure. So these concepts we had finished with in our last video. So just to have a small recap with that, expatriates are those people of one country who are working in another country, and the concept of expatriate failure refers to a person who's working in another country does not complete the assignment and comes back home half finished with a half finished assignment. So this is where expatriate failure occurs. Now, why is it that when we send citizens of one country, citizens of our country, when we assign them, when we ask them to go to another country and work, why is it that without completing the assignment in that host country or the foreign country, they come back to their own country without completing their assignment? So we will just try to understand some of the reasons as to why this occurs. So have a look at the first point over here, poor selection policies of the firm. So what the firm does here is many times when companies select people for foreign assignments, they select them only on the basis of their technical skills. They may not select them on the basis of their cultural adaptability. So because of this reason, the expatriates are unable to adapt themselves to the foreign culture. They are unable to adapt themselves to the foreign language. They may be extremely good in terms of technical competence, but because of inability to adapt themselves to the other country, they end up coming back home. Then have a look at the second point, a very important point as to why expatriates fail and there's a premature return from their foreign assignments. Inability of the spouse to adjust. So this is one of the major reasons why, especially from the expatriates from developed countries, a person who's a resident of Britain is designated to work in Malaysia. But because the wife is not able to make friends in Malaysia, the wife is not able to adjust to the language which is used in Malaysia, the wife is unable to adjust to the food, what is available in Malaysia. She's not able to make friends. She feels lonely and helpless. Because of these reasons also, the expatriate, because the wife is not happy, they end up leaving their assignment half finished and go back to their own country. So what is the reason as to why this actually happens here is, see, the spouse normally finds themselves in an unfamiliar country with unfamiliar network of people. And not only that, there are a lot of language differences which the wife will not be able to adapt to. And the expatriate manager, he may be going to office. Because he's going to office, he will be able to make friends and he'll be able to somehow get adjusted to the environment. But it's not like that for the wife. She has to stay at home and she's not able to make friends with her neighbors also because of language barriers, because of which she may kind of feel suffocated. So this is one of the reasons as to why the spouse feels very helpless here. And this problem is further aggravated by the fact that immigration rules do not allow the wife or the spouse to find employment anywhere. They are not allowed to search for employment. They have to stay at home. So all these reasons makes the spouse unable to adjust with the different foreign cultural environment. Having a look at the third point here, inability of manager to cope with overseas responsibilities. Then normally what happens is when foreign assignments are given, especially when managers from a developed country, industrialized nations, if they are given assignments in emerging economies like India or China or anything like that, they feel that the operations here in India or China and all are very uh, difficult to turn around to a profitable situation. The government might interfere. The Indian government or the Chinese government might interfere, will not allow the expatriate managers to cut down costs by firing the already existing workers and trying to take new workers. This will not be possible. And there may be a lot of problems regarding the production process itself, which is difficult to control and which is difficult to turn around and make it profitable. So all these problems expatriate managers face. They find that foreign assignments are much, much tougher. The people will also be more difficult to handle. People may not listen to the expatriate manager. So all these things makes the foreign assignment tough for the expatriate manager. Then you have lack of personal and emotional maturity. See, there are some people who will be able to adjust in practically any environment. You even leave them in an Amazon forest also, they will be able to adjust there and they will be able to live there. But there are some people where you give them all the luxuries of the world also, they will not be able to adjust themselves. They'll keep finding fault in some place or the other. So this is what we understand by the personal or emotional maturity. Some people want everything in perfection the way they want. Whenever they feel that in that foreign country, things are not there in perfection, they feel disappointed, due to which they feel an inability to cope up with the foreign culture. And you have the inability to adjust to a new culture. So these are some of the reasons as to why there is a premature return of expatriates from their foreign assignments. Moving on to the next topic here, expatriate selection. So how is it possible to make expatriates successful? And what are the selection policies that should be adopted by companies here? One thing is selection based on technical skills. This should definitely be there. See, supposing we are speaking about revamping on certain operational processes of a production unit. This definitely requires certain technical skill. So when you literally have to change certain operations of a foreign unit, or you might literally have to establish some operations of that host country or that subsidiary or that foreign unit, in this case, technical skills are required. However, many situations, expatriates are not sent on foreign assignments only to revamp the technical operations. Their purpose is also to collect certain valuable and important information and bring it back to headquarters. In such a situation, apart from technical skills, you also need to have sufficient cultural skills. So the ability of expatriates to adopt themselves to any culture that they are put into should be there for these expatriates. How do you make your selection process and selection techniques to make sure that such people are selected? Through certain personality tests, you can ensure this to happen. See, take an example of the first point here. One of the personality tests should test the expatriate on their self-orientation. What is understood by self-orientation here is, what is the level of self-confidence of expatriates, how is the extent of their self-esteem, and what is the level of their mental well-being. These are some of the three variables which defines self-orientation. So, as I had already told you, people who are quite mature, people who are having a very stable set of mind, who are having a very stable mindset, such people will be able to adjust themselves anywhere, and they will be willing to adopt themselves to the new food that they have to encounter, to the different language which they have to speak, to the different kind of sports to entertain themselves. So all these things determines the level of adaptability of the individual. See, the moment an individual is quite self-confident, The moment an individual is having a high self-esteem, automatically they will be able to adjust themselves literally anywhere. Whereas those individuals who are low on self-esteem, they are easily upset. They easily face anxiety. They take too much of stress upon themselves. Such kind of people, if you designate them on foreign assignments, definitely that assignment will fail. Definitely that person will, if you have put them for 5 years assignment, they will come back in 3 months itself. Okay. So when you're selecting people to go for a tough foreign posting, we should select those people who are kind of strong people and who are kind of confident and who are quite friendly with others, who can basically adjust themselves anywhere. Moving on to the second point here, you have something called as others orientation. So when you're testing the expatriates, when you're selecting expatriates to designate on foreign assignments, they need to be tested on this variable also. This is nothing but the willingness to communicate with others in the foreign country, the host country, the willingness to interact with others in the host country, the willingness to develop long-lasting relationships with people in the host country, in that subsidiary of the foreign country. So all these things will determine the success of an expatriate. So with regarding to the communication, the willingness to interact, see, it's not necessary that the expatriate has to have very fluency in the language. Supposing an expatriate is coming from, yes, okay, let's say an Australian person is coming here to work in India. So it's not necessary that the Australian person has to be very well versed with Hindi. It's not necessary. But he should be having that, he may not have fluency, but he should be willing to learn the language. He should be willing to interact with some of the workers in order to get things done. So all these things are definitely aspects which leads to success of expatriates. Then the next one, you have something called as perceptual ability. So perceptual ability is the ability to understand and empathize why people behave in a certain way, the way in which they are behaving. You're able to understand, judge, why is it that people are behaving in a certain way, and you're accepting it. All right, so these things should be very important for an expatriate. See, the reason why this is important is because many times the managers who come from the foreign country, the expatriates, they treat the host country nationals, supposing a person from, again, let us say a person from India, okay, is going and working in somewhere in, let us say, the Middle East. So this person is treating the host country nationals the same way the Indian is treating the people from the Middle East, the same way how he will expect a behavior from India or how he will treat people in India. This is what will go wrong here. So if this happens, there will be a lot of miscommunication and the expatriate may face a lot of management problems which will ultimately lead to a lot of frustration. In a similar way, if I had to take one more example, let us say an expatriate from US. IBM, a US company, a person from US is coming and has to oversee the operations of IBM India. So he's an expatriate in India. So what happens here is, this person will have the same, whatever expectations he's having from his US subordinates, the same expectations he will have from people in India over here also. Over there, time is everything for them. Even when you're calling a taxi, in case you're telling the taxi driver to come at 10 o'clock sharp, he will be at your doorstep at 10 o'clock sharp. Instead of 10, in case you go to the taxi driver at 10:05, in case you're not ready by then and you board the taxi only at 10:05, they will definitely give you a reprimand. They will say that, see, you're wasting 5 minutes of my time. So time is everything for them. But Keeping this in mind, and again, supposing you have to go to, let's say, a station, if you have to board a train, according to the time schedule, at sharp 9:53, a train is expected to arrive at your platform. 9:53, it will be there on your platform. It will not be 9:50 or 9:55. It will not be like that. 9:53 means 9:53, it will be there in the platform. Whereas it's not like that here. So, in India, here and there, a time difference of like 10-15 minutes difference and all those things is considered to be completely acceptable. So there are instances where one expatriate, it's a real life situation, one expatriate from Hewlett Packard, HP, had come down to India and had observed once. He had actually narrated once that it took him almost 6 months time to understand and accept the fact that staff meetings will start 15 to 20 minutes late than whatever has been scheduled. And he is the only one who is concerned or frustrated regarding this. Nobody else seems to be bothered at the fact that the meeting is starting 20 minutes late. But initially, this expatriate from HP used to feel really frustrated regarding this. But later, after a span of around 6 months, it's only slowly he started adjusting to this lag in the time schedule. Okay, so in this way, his expectations on the Indian staff meetings were similar to his expectations on the staff meetings of United States. He was not able to understand or adjust to the fact that it is totally acceptable for meetings to start late by around 15-20 minutes here. See, here it's not that the people have to be blamed. See, here infrastructure is also not as smooth as how it's infrastructure in a developed country. There are so many traffic jams which can occur. A person who's coming for the staff meeting might have unexpectedly got stuck in a traffic jam, which is not so the case in a developed country. So these are all certain factors which has to be considered. If it is a person who is understanding, okay, staff meetings are late because the infrastructure is not great over here, he will be able to come to terms with it. So if he is able to totally understand that, yes, this is how it happens here and I'm totally adjusting myself to it, it means he has got good perceptual ability. If he is simply cribbing about it, that why is it starting 20 minutes late and keeps cribbing about it, it means he doesn't have the perceptual ability. You need to select people who have good perceptual ability to designate them on foreign assignments. So when the person has good perceptual ability, they will be able to be quite flexible in terms of their management style also. All this time he was a strict disciplinarian, but now he is allowing things to be a little relaxed. So he's flexible in his management style and he's adjusting according to the way in which the culture warrants. Then finally, when you're selecting expatriates, cultural toughness, again, ability to adapt to different cultures. Some cultures are more difficult to adapt. Some cultures are easy to adapt. People from industrialized nations like New Zealand, Australia, or the Western Europe or the United States, the people from these regions will find it difficult if they are put on postings to Middle East, the Southeast Asian countries or South Asian countries. They will find it very difficult to adjust because it's a completely different culture here. Not only the culture, the food might be different. The weather may not be compatible for those people. They may find a person from England who comes and works here in India might find the weather too hot and unadjustable. The food, they might find it to be too spicy. They are not used to so much spicy food. So all these things will are all a difficult environment for these expatriates. However, managers from US, if they are designated to work in Britain, they find it to be a good, a comfortable foreign posting because there is certain cultural similarity between these two cultures. So some countries are more tough, some countries are more easy for the expatriates. When you are selecting expatriates, you need to consider again their level of maturity, ability to adapt to the different cultures. And how is it that you need to create the selection tests? As I had already told you in the beginning of this slide, self-orientation, others orientation, perceptual ability, all these things can be You can select expatriates simply based on a simple personality test. And with regards to cultural toughness, you may not be able to test them on this, but yes, through certain things like a cultural, you may be able to train them on this by some methods called as cultural assimilators, which we will just see in the next slide. Then another important criteria is when you are selecting expatriates for foreign assignments, one thing is see their personality. It should match all these 3 points what I have told you. The second thing is it is best to involve the spouse also in the selection process. It is best to interview the spouse and find out from them whether they are okay with this foreign assignment. Where during the training program, it is apart from training the expatriate manager, it is also important to train the spouse also uh, before they are designated on, before their families move to any foreign assignment. And you should also review the expatriates' family situation. Okay, so those expatriates who have a lot of commitment towards their family will not be in a position to move to another foreign assignment. Whereas, supposing you take an example of India itself, supposing you want to decide to designate some person to go and work in, let's say, Ukraine or Russia. Now, you will have to see their family situation. Supposing it is a person who is married, he has 2 small children, he has 2 old parents to look after. He may not be a person who's willing to go to a foreign assignment. Even if he accepts the foreign assignment, he will come back quickly because of pressure from family. Whereas when you are choosing a bachelor, relatively a young person, or you may be choosing a person who's quite middle-aged, whose children have settled down, who may not have to look after old parents. Such a kind of person, if you select for a foreign assignment, they will mostly stay in that foreign assignment for a longer time. So all these things like their family situations, all these things have to be reviewed while you're deciding to designate expatriates on foreign assignments. So with this, I will just conclude this video. In our next video, we shall be studying about the training and development, what has to be given, on what aspects training has to be given to expatriate managers. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.